So, what if I told you that the whole goal of your financial life isn't to die rich? What if the real goal was to die with zero? Today we're jumping into Bill Perkins' amazing book, Die with Zero. And trust me, it's a philosophy that's going to challenge pretty much everything you've ever been taught about saving for the future. All right, let's get into it. You know the story, right? The fable of the ant and the grasshopper. The ant works its tail off all summer, saving up for winter, while the grasshopper just fiddles away. And we're all taught, be the ant. But Perkins kicks things off with this one simple but totally revolutionary question. If the ant is always working, when does it actually get to have any fun? And that one question right there is the key to this entire idea. And this really gets to the heart of the problem. We are so hardwired to save for some future winter that we never even stop to ask if we'll be around to enjoy the spring. Perkins argues this isn't just a small mistake, it's a huge fundamental flaw in the way we think about our money and, more importantly, our lives. I mean, think about it. Most of us are just on autopilot. You get a job, you work hard, you put money away, you delay all the good stuff. The real problem with that autopilot mode is that it's kind of blind. It just assumes you'll have the health and the time and the energy to do all those things you're dreaming of, someday. But here's the thing, someday isn't guaranteed. So this slide really breaks down the massive mindset shift the book is asking us to make, and instead of just trying to maximize your wealth, you shift your focus to maximizing your positive life experiences. You stop just saving for retirement, and you start actively turning your money into memories. The finish line isn't a giant pile of cash, it's a rich life, one that's full of incredible stories. Okay, so if money isn't the ultimate goal, then what is? Well, Perkins says that our most valuable resources are actually a combination of three things: money, health, and time. And the big challenge of life is that these three things almost never peak at the same time. So here's the bottom line. Your life isn't measured by what's in your bank account. It's the sum total of your experiences. Everything you do, whether it's a trip around the world or just a perfect afternoon in the park, it all adds up to who you are. The real goal is to make that sum as rich and as full as you possibly can.
In this graph explains the whole problem perfectly. Just look at it. As we get older, our wealth, that's the dashed line, it tends to go up and up. But our health and our ability to really do things, well, that's going down. See, at 65, you might have all the money in the world to climb a mountain, but do you have the needs for it? A dollar is worth so much more when you actually have the health and energy to enjoy what it can buy you.
And this quote just hits it right on the head. We are obsessed with not wasting a single penny, but we don't think twice about wasting our most valuable non-renewable assets, our time and our health. Perkins says that's just completely backward.
If you are finding this video helpful, please make sure to hit that like button and share it with someone who this might help and be a benefit to their financial decision-makings. Your support means a lot to me and helps the channel grow, allowing the YouTube algorithm to show this content to a bigger crowd. More people can benefit from these ideas and hopefully improve their financial well-being.
Now, this brings us to one of the coolest ideas in the whole book, the idea that experiences aren't just costs, they're actually investments. And just like a good financial investment, they pay you back over time with something way more valuable than money.
Perkins calls this the memory dividend. You know what that is? It's the joy you feel years later when you're telling the story about that crazy, hilarious vacation you took. It's the warmth you get looking back at old photos. It is truly the gift that keeps on giving, long after the money's been spent.
And get this, just like financial investments, these memory dividends actually compound over time. This chart shows it so well. The initial joy of the experience is just the beginning. It's the accumulated memories, that shaded area, that can end up being way more valuable than the original trip itself.
So what does this mean for you? Well, it creates a real sense of urgency. An amazing experience you have when you're 25 has literally decades to pay you back in memory dividends. But that same exact experience at age 65, it has a much shorter time to compound. So if you want the biggest return on your life, you've got to start investing in these experiences as early as you can.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds amazing, but how do I actually do this without ending up broke? Well, this is where the philosophy gets really practical, with actual tools to help you plan your life out on purpose. One of the best tools is something called time bucketing. It's a simple idea. You break your life into decades, and you start to plan which experiences are best for each stage. A backpacking trip through Europe might be perfect for your 20s. Maybe a big family adventure is for your 40s. It's all about being intentional and making sure your spending lines up with your life stage. And this is probably the most radical idea in the entire book. Look at this graph. The gray line is what we're all taught to do. Make your net worth go up forever. But the black line? That's the D with zero path. Your net worth is supposed to peak, and then you start to purposefully, thoughtfully spend it down. This is called decumulation, the active process of turning your savings back into life experiences. So when should this peak happen? Well, according to the book's models, for most people, that sweet spot to hit your net worth peak and start spending down is somewhere between the ages of 45 and 60. That's when your health, your money, and your time are often in their best possible balance. And this chart shows exactly what that looks like for your spending habits. The traditional curve is pretty flat, right? But the optimal curve, that darker one, shows this huge spike in your middle years. The idea is to concentrate your spending when you can get the absolute most joy and value out of every single dollar. So let's be really clear here. This is not about being reckless. It's not about being irresponsible. Actually, it's the total opposite. It's about being incredibly thoughtful and intentional with the finite resources you have in your life. The real goal isn't to die broke. It's to die having lived a completely full life with zero regrets. So to pull it all together, here are the key rules to live by. Rule 1. Make your number one goal maximizing your positive life experiences. 2. Invest in those experiences early and often to get the most memory dividends. 3. Actually aim to die with zero. Have that as your target. 4. Use tools like time bucketing to be intentional about your planning. And finally, number 5, if you want to give money to your kids or to charity, do it while you're still alive so you can actually see the joy and the impact it has. Ultimately, the point of Die with Zero isn't really to hit a perfect zero on your deathbed. Think of it more like a North Star. As Perkins writes, just aiming for it fundamentally changes your life's focus from that default setting of just earning and saving to actively designing and living the absolute best life you possibly can. And that leaves us all with one really important personal question to think about. When you look at your own life, with your dreams and your own timeline, what experiences are you waiting to have?
Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching. I'm Finance Puppy, and here's to a better financial tomorrow. Cheers!